going to go ahead and get started. We started the recording. Thank you everybody for showing up either on time or a little bit early. Super grateful that you all could join us for this Justice at Last first community outreach event for the year 2026. We're thrilled to be able to have longtime supporters joining us, our local elected officials, partners that we've worked with closely, as well as other service providers that are serving survivors of human trafficking as well. We're going to go ahead and get started. Um, we've got some rules here that we'll also put into the chat. Just keeping in mind that this event is being recorded. Please keep your cameras off and muted unless you are presenting and instructed to go ahead and move forward. If you have any questions, please feel free to use the chat box. Please don't list any confidential information because this is being recorded. And we hope that you have fun and enjoy our evening. I'm Rose McCarr. I'm the founder and chief executive officer of Justice at Last, and just delighted again that you all are joining us. So thank you so much. Before we get started, I want to recognize our sponsor. We have Marty McGibbon, who is also an advisor of Justice at Last. She has donated some books, her books. She's an author. She's a speaker. She's an advocate, incredible speaker. And so she's donated 6 of her books that we're going to be giving throughout the event. There's opportunities to win some Justice at Last swag in addition to Marty's book. So thank you. A shout out to Marty. And then these are going to be the speakers for the course of the day, and we're going to get going right now. And just for that I mentioned that you'll have an opportunity to win. We're going to ask, there'll be 2 rounds of questions that'll be posed to the audience. It's designed to get you engaged and also have an opportunity to, again, win some of our Justice at Last swag. You can only win once. There's 6 winners total, 3 from each round. So there's 2 rounds. And what we're looking for is answers in the chat box based on the accuracy of the question, the accuracy of your answer, and the speed and level of creativity. If you're having trouble accessing chat, please go to escape and try to enter back in. These are the Justice at Last prizes that we're going to be giving away. Again, it's Marty's McGibbon's 2 books that she's authored. We've got Justice at Last t-shirt, coffee mug, and tote bag. Again, thank you for those that are just joining us now. I'm Rose McCarr. I'm the founder and chief executive officer of Justice at Last. And I just wanted to take a quick minute to recognize the elected officials that we have that have joined us or members of their team. So wanted to shout out San Mateo County President Board of Supervisor Corzo is here with her Chief of Staff, Jackie. They're from District 2 in San Mateo County. We also have Marisol. She is the Chief of Staff for Board of Supervisor Mueller with his District 3 in San Mateo County. From Alameda County, we've got Jennifer. She's the Advocacy Supervisor for the Alameda County Victim Witness Unit. From the DA's office, she's joining us from Alameda County. And then also from Alameda County, we've got Michael and Ryan, who are both from Board of Supervisor Lena Tam's office in District 3. We also have Contra Costa County joining us. Claire, who's staff for Board of Supervisor Burgess in District 3, as well as Jennifer, Chief of Staff for Board of Supervisor Qualic in District 2. Likewise, we have from San Francisco, Jessica. She's working with Board of Supervisor Wong in District 4. So shout out to our elected officials for joining us and recognizing the work that we're doing and the importance of supporting survivors of human trafficking. And now what we're going to do is we're going to have some opening remarks from Supervisor Corzo. She's actually the president of the Board of Supervisors right now, and I just wanted to recognize her for her leadership within San Mateo County and as an elected official for recognizing the importance of support and the need for resources for survivors of gender-based violence, sexual assault, human trafficking, and domestic violence. And Supervisor Corzo has been a recognized leader and advocate for survivors of trafficking and other survivors. So we're grateful that she's here today, and she's just going to join us and provide some opening remarks. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining this call. I'm really excited to be here with you all. I really jumped into the work of um, supporting survivors in 2023 when I started my role as a county supervisor in San Mateo County. And from the get-go, I remember meeting Rose and her focus and the work of Justice at Last in really centering survivors and making sure that not only can they tell their stories, but they have that legal support to really navigate probably the most complex and um, difficult times of their lives. I think has brought me a lot of hope and that reminder that there are organizations like this one really advocating and centering survivors in systems that they'd get lost in, honestly, otherwise. Um, we hear from survivors of all kinds of violence often, and the number one area that they need support in is legal. They need that expertise and that advocate to really make sure that they are respected and recognized as individuals who have a right to have their voice heard and their rights respected in systems like our legal system, like the criminal justice system, that would otherwise punish them, even as survivors, right, and victims of human trafficking. Um, it's just so critically important that survivors know that they have support that allows them um, to make their own choices when they've been robbed of that, very likely for a good amount of time. Um, in San Mateo County, we've worked together now for years, and um, Rose and Justice at Last, I remember, brought a couple of survivors to one of our meetings at the very beginning, and it was so inspiring to know that people that uh, have been through such complicated, traumatizing events can come out of that and feel empowered and seen and safe with the right support. And so I look to Justice at Last as one of the organizations in our community and across the region that does it right, that knows how to center survivors. And so I'm happy everyone is here to learn more about this amazing organization. And the last thing I will add is that there's a lot of good intentions to support people, right? But at times, merely throwing money at a situation or a topic, it's not enough, right? It has to be the right kind of work. It has to be centered in lived experience. And I'm grateful to the voice that Rose has and that she has brought to um, this topic, and remembering to highlight what people actually need. So I'll hand it back to you, Rose. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Supervisor Corzo. So grateful to you. And I appreciate you sharing that. That's one of the reasons why we wanted to have this event today is to give some hope, to let folks know, as challenging as our day-to-day lives are, no matter what it is that you're doing, there's a lot that's going on right now in the world that's impacting us at a local level. And we wanted to let folks know we're still here. We're still doing the work. And hopefully that will and provide some hope for moving forward for folks. So thank you. Appreciate your time.
Of
Um,
course. And actually, let me add one thing you just reminded me of.
yeah.
You know, I've been I've been sharing with people as we see all of the changes coming from the federal administration, as we see these impacts getting closer and closer to touching our communities. This work it's not always rocket science, right? Like we know that as people lose food assistance, medical insurance, and people are put in desperate situations, that unfortunately, there will likely be a surge in victimization. And so it's not complicated to know that it's coming. So I've been asking local elected officials and city councils, remember who will become most vulnerable, and remember to prepare for that now, right? Invest in survivors. So thank you for helping us to stay centered on that.
Thank you. I love that. Yeah, no, absolutely. And we have one of our advisors that's going to be speaking in a little bit, Rafael Bautista. But absolutely, this is like the prime time for a trafficker to be trafficking individuals because of the fear, genuine fear of what might happen if you speak up and report what's happened. So thank you. Um, Great. So we're just going to go straight in. We've got a lot to cover in a short period of time. And so I know some of you are very familiar with our work, but there's also, we have some new folks that are joining us. So I'm just going to give a quick little blast about the work that we do at Justice at Last. We are exclusively serving survivors of human trafficking. And we're a legal service provider. All our services are free. And what makes us unique is that we're mobile, which means we are out and about in the community, meeting clients where they're at. We do have 4 offices throughout the Bay Area, but we make it our point to break down barriers so that survivors can access expertise with attorneys and client advocates representing and understanding the legal systems. And so that is the work that we do. And we've been around since 2015. Since we've been founded, we have served over 2,000 survivors of human trafficking. And we've trained over 14,000 stakeholders, whether it's law enforcement, service providers, social service providers, and much more, survivors themselves, training about what the rights are and forms of relief for survivors of human trafficking. And then also, since 2015, we've been able to secure in our clients' hands over $2 million in restitution and lost wages. So we know that we're making an impact, and we're grateful that you're here today supporting us as you have in the past, and be able to hear about the programming impact we've been making. So this is just our mission of what we believe. Access to trauma-informed and survivor-driven, free, comprehensive legal services and supportive services are critical. And that survivors have to have the opportunity to define, seek, and achieve justice on their own terms. Our role is to help uplift and empower survivors, but we do that by letting them know what their rights are so they can make the decisions about how they want to move forward in their life. We also feel strongly about it's critical to build capacity and increase collaboration if we want to develop a community response to combating human trafficking. Here's some quick data points that I'll just briefly share with you. This is from 2025. Over 400 persons were served. 165 were actually represented. And then we assessed and supported 279 survivors and did 209 warm referrals to other organizations that could provide other services. And then our top legal services that we have, and this has been pretty consistent, crime victim rights, immigration relief. We focus on financial empowerment and lost wages. We also, our client advocates provide safety planning, and we do criminal records clearance. We're kind of like this general practice law firm, but we've got this specialization because we're exclusively working with survivors that have been trafficked. Here's a few more data points from our clients, and happy to, in 2025, the other data point I wanted to share was that we served clients in 28 counties throughout the Bay Area. And then the top main counties where we are seeing the majority of our clients are Alameda County, Santa Clara, San Mateo, San Francisco, and Contra Costa County. Um, we've got phenomenal leadership from our board of directors, and just wanted to shout out our board members that have joined us today. I know that Karen is on the line, Glenn, as well as I believe Karthik has joined, and Noor is behind the scenes helping us, and Aparna is here. She is our new board chair, and Noor is our new secretary. Natasha Lee has been our ongoing treasurer. I want to recognize and shout out Puna and Karthik. They have been officers helping to lead the organization for years. Karthik has been our board chair for 2 years and just stepped down. And likewise, Puna has been our board secretary for the past 5 years. So special recognition to them, and thanks to all our board members who help move us forward with our work. And then here's a quick picture from the Justice at Last staff. I briefly mentioned we have client advocates. We're not just attorneys. We've got attorneys and client advocates working in tandem with one another, supporting our clients to make sure that basic needs are being met so that the survivor can focus on whatever the legal issues might be. Because if you're a survivor, you're no longer in the trafficking situation, but you don't know where you're going to sleep tonight, you don't know how you're going to feed your child this evening, you're not going to care that you have to go to court tomorrow, even if you've got a subpoena. You're going to focus on your basic needs. And so we work together with our client advocates and our attorneys, and then we also have operational and administrative staff. And then Justice at Last has advisors. They're made up of subject matter experts with lived experience, and they help guide our work. They critique our trainings. They do trainings with us. They help us with our protocols and policies, and they help us create programs. And so delighted that we've got advisors here. And like we mentioned earlier, Marty is one of our advisors who is also a sponsor. We have Raphael who's going to be speaking close in a couple of minutes. And now I'm going to stop and hand it over to Carolyn Kim, our legal director.
Hi, everyone. Thank you again for this opportunity and really joining us today as we are really engaging in the community. Thank you for coming and supporting our work. In 2025, I think one of the things that I really wanted to highlight and that we're really excited about is our theory of change. We actually sat down and really got to thinking about the impact of the work that we're doing and creating a theory of change that was really reflective, not only the work we're doing, but what we're committed to creating in this world. And so one of the first parts of this process was to think through like what is the problem that we are addressing. And so the sorry, my screen. Uh, the problem that we identified was that each day in the San Francisco Bay Area, one of the highest traffic regions in the country, traffickers use force, fraud, or coercion to exploit people in commercial sex and forced labor across multiple industries. After surviving trafficking, survivors often encounter a profound justice gap. This gap that has been highlighted already with Supervisor Corzo speaking, as well as Rose highlighting on the fact that survivors, instead of being recognized as victims, are frequently disbelieved, criminalized, and denied access to systems and resources essential for their healing, safety, and long-term stability. At Justice at Last, we really do believe in bridging this justice gap. And how we decided to go about doing that was to provide access to holistic legal representation. As Rose touched upon, one of the unique factors of Justice at Last is that we do work in this tandem, multidisciplinary model that is focused on trauma-informed lawyering. We believe that the more empowered a survivor is, the more engaged and resilient they can be in navigating their own legal challenges, to really being able to provide the pathway and space for survivors to define what justice means to them, and then give them the tools to be able to access that justice. And so that is what we are currently doing. And we're continuing to do this. And so because of our strategies in providing this holistic legal representation to survivors of all forms of trafficking, our intended impact is that by 2035, Justice at Last will close this justice gap for trafficking survivors by ensuring that every survivor seeking legal service is recognized, supported, and empowered to make informed choices, enforce their rights, resolve legal challenges more quickly, and at last build a stable, resilient future. And we are going to talk a little bit more, but I just wanted to highlight again the fact that even in our current political landscape, that our direct services team has really built up tenacity and resilience of their own. We are seeing successes across the board through immigration relief access, from obtaining continued presence, which is a temporary visa to allow survivors to remain in the United States until their T visa is processed, to getting T visas, which are specific visas specialized for trafficking survivors, to even being able to not become green card or permanent residents, legal permanent residents. We are still seeing that and protecting the legal remedies, access to immigration for all survivors. We're also seeing great success on the vacature front, providing county-wide protocols being developed for survivors being able to access the criminal records clearance relief that they're entitled to remove those barriers of criminal records that they have acquired as a result of their trafficking. And now, because of this county-wide protocol that was developed in one county, we are able to really expand upon and increase the access to criminal records clearance for survivors across the board in all 12 counties that we represent in. And these are just some of the highlights. I will save some of the time for my other counterparts to talk about the great work that we're doing. And right now, I will go ahead and pass it on back to you, Rose.
Thanks, Carolyn. And then for folks, if you do have questions, if it helps for you to write it in the chat now, we do have time later on. We will address all questions towards the end. But if you need to write them down, please do. So now we're going to go into, we're calling it the community lightning round. We're going to ask a question and we're looking for the first 3 correct answers in the chat. We're going to place the question in the chat. You can only win once. So if you win on the first round, please, don't participate necessarily in the second round. And we've got, let's see. Can someone please put in the chat? We're sorting out the question. Hold on. Okay, so the question is going to be, how much restitution and lost wages has been secured for Justice at Last clients since 2015? Somebody could actually put that question in the chat as well. And then as answers trickle in, we're going to have our volunteers behind the scenes. We have Tim and Karen. They are going to engage with you directly because in order to actually get the winning prize, we're going to need to get some contact information for you. Please don't share your personal information in the chat. Work directly with either Karen or Tim. They will message you directly to get your information. And because I'm sharing my screen, I'm having trouble pulling up the chat. Do we have winners? Can somebody let me know? Here we go. It looks like we have, so great. So we are the first 3 winners look like Claire, Karthik, and Helen. So thank you for participating. Although it looks like you all came in at the same time, 5:23. Let our volunteers behind the scenes sort that out. We might have a tie. We might be able to adjust that since you all submitted your answers at the same time. We can go ahead and accept all 4. Thank you for participating. And be sure to coordinate with Karen and Tim. Thanks. Cool. And then just so you know, each winner will get a copy of one of Marty's books, and then you have a choice of either a t-shirt, a mug, or a tote bag. And we will coordinate with you to get all of the winning prizes to you. Cool. Thank you, everybody, for participating. There'll be another opportunity to participate in about 10 more, maybe 15 more minutes. Right now, we're going to switch over gears and introduce Rafael Bautista. He is one of Justice at Last advisors, and he's been working with us for many years and provides incredible leadership and expertise and helps ground our work. So I'm going to open the floor to Raphael.
Thank you, Rose. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, perfect. Thanks,
Perfect.
Raphael.
Well, first of all, I want to thank everyone that joined this community meeting. To the Board of Supervisors, Ms. Orozco, thank you for acknowledging and talking about survivors. Uh, well, my name is Rafael Bautista. I serve as Justice Alliance advisor. I also serve as the chair of the U.S. Advisory Council on Human Trafficking. I'm a consultant for many federal agencies. But one of my most favorite parts of this role that I play is being an advisor for Justice Alliance. I've been knowing Ross since even probably before Justice Alliance was Justice Alliance. I got the pleasure to meet Ross at a conference. And just the way that she approached, and she talked to a couple of us survivors with lived experience. And like Ms. Orozco mentioned, we deserve and we need legal representation, trauma-informed, survivor-centered, someone that cares. If you guys hear Rose talking, uh, and Caroline, they talk about humanitarian rights, which is the law, but they're also human beings, and they show us and they put that at first. That's part of why is my favorite, one of my favorite organizations to work with. And I will say it's the only one that I've been working with since day one. Um, as an advisor, we review, recommend, and support some of the programs, trainings, and events that they create for the community, for survivors, and within Justice Alliance. I got the privilege to work with Justice Alliance from day one. Um, Being an advisor for Justice Alliance is an opportunity for us to do better in our lives, not only to provide feedback, but the support that we receive from Rose and from the team, from Christy, from Caroline, from everyone. When we talk about trauma informed, this is it. This is trauma informed. Even before I believe the trauma informed definition was created, Rose was already practicing it. And they were already doing this great work about being trauma informed and survivor center. Um, I want to also say thank you to all of these people behind the scenes because there's a great staff. Something that I love. Last time I visited Justice Alas in San Francisco is the harmony, the atmosphere, the energy in the office, the diversity, the inclusion, the transparency, the intentionality, just to be human, to support survivors, to help us achieve our next step, right? Because now we made it alive. We survived. That's why we are called survivors. We survive. But what's next? And justice looks different for everyone. And Ms. Orozco mentioned something spectacular, justice for survivors. Imagine having 2 million in restitution. I wish Justice Alliance was open when I left my situation so I could have proper legal representation. Uh, but I'm alive and I made it and I'm contributing with Justice Alliance, and that's one of my uh, most, how to say this word? I'm sorry, my brain sometimes is functioning in English and Spanish, more rewarding jobs that I do in this field. Last year, I was privileged to be invited. Um, they showed this film, this adventure called California. If you know, last year or in the years before, Hollywood has bring some sensational, awful, and please forgive me, okay, about my language, awful movies uh, that will totally disinform what human trafficking is and how it looks like. They continue stereotyping and causing more harm and disinformation than anything else. And I'm not even gonna say the name. Well, I'm gonna say the name because I want you guys to know. uh, uh, Sounds of Freedom. That movie is so bad, really bad. And I can go and Taken and many more. This is not a movie. This is a film. This is a real life. Arnoldo is a human being that I can connect and reflect myself through Arnoldo's life. As a male survivor of labor trafficking, the challenges, the resources, just people to believe that a male can be a victim is challenging. It's already a barrier. Rose, I love what you said earlier. Um, Breaking barriers. And that's actually what Justice Celeste is doing by showing this film, by supporting not only dreams from survivors, but breaking stereotypes. breaking assumptions, and showing the reality of human trafficking. The goal that by 2035, every survivor has legal representation. It's amazing. That's something that it fulfills my heart. And it keeps me moving and going and do whatever it takes to support Justice Alas. Um, I encourage everyone. I believe we touched bases, Rose, about showing this adventure called California one more time in 2026. If you haven't seen this film, I encourage you to uh, participate, to join us on that day. Hopefully, I be able to join and be there. I will not miss it because every time I see it, it touch my heart and it remind me why I'm doing this work. The reason why I'm in the anti-trafficking movement because I have a normal, regular life. Many survivors we do. I'm a paralegal. Some of them are engineers, doctors, attorneys. Um, and little by little, we have create careers and being more stable. We still need a lot of work to do. The community, the government, the agencies, many of us, the society still has a lot of work to do in regards to human trafficking. But thanks to the lead of Justice Alas taking initiative and this organization, I know we're gonna do it and we're gonna one day achieve what we need to do. And I know we have very short amount of time. I don't want to take a lot of time. I just want to say thank you to all of you. My gratitude, my heart, and my blessings to all of you that are investing a little bit of time after a long day of work to join us here today, to be part of this, and to really create a change for a better, because human trafficking do not discriminate, and it could happen 20 years later to a relative, to someone that you love. So make sure that you stay involved, you continue to support Justice Alas, and stay in touch for more great and amazing trainings and webinars that I know that will be put together by Justice Alas. And with that, I'm gonna pass it back to Ross, and I will be in line and join the rest of the presentation. Thank you so much, Ross, for the opportunity to be here.
Thank you, Rafael. Super grateful to you and all your advice that you've provided us over the years and your leadership role as well. Our next speaker is Christy Cho, and she is our program director, but she's also going to touch on the work that we've done thanks to Rafael. Rafael is a brainchild for our financial education and advocacy program, and we're so grateful to him. So thank you. And Christy, will let you take it away. Thanks.
Awesome. Hello, everybody. My name is Christy Cho. I am the Director of Client Advocacy Services at Justice at Last. And building upon what my colleagues have shared, I'd like to do a deeper dive on how financial and economic justice is important to us here. Human trafficking has been described in a lot of different ways, but when we consider what it could look like through an economic and financial lens, trafficking is a crime that siphons or steals economic potential and financial stability from its victims. So, in response to this perspective, we have state and federal initiatives that specifically attempt to amend such theft. So, currently, there are three primary ways that Justice at Last advocates for economic justice. The first is court awarded restitution through criminal or civil suits. The second is credit repair through the Debt Bondage Repair Act. And the last one is lost income reparations through the California Victim Compensation Program, which awards up to $20,000 per eligible survivor. That number also can wiggle up and down, but for now it's $20,000. The biggest barrier currently for survivors in accessing these remedies is a lot of the same problems that we see in the justice gap. The lack of identification of victimization, the inability of survivors to access these remedies, as well as the lack of connectivity in really linking survivors with this type of remedy to really kind of help hone this in. You'll also notice that when I talk about financial and economic justice, I'm not talking about some of the more commonly discussed needs that survivors might be facing, like shelter or food or childcare. And we recognize that as a legal organization, doing that level of super immediate, urgent, crisis stabilizing services, we have partners that do that. And we rely on those partners and our community relationships to ensure that those resources are in place. But what we can see as a legal service provider, and in some cases, we are often at times the longest standing relationship that some of our clients have with another organization, is that over time, we definitely see that the financial and economic um, justice aspects are often laid down. They're not carried further across. They're not enforced all the way through. And that's where Justice at Last steps in, especially with the program that Rose had mentioned with the financial education and advocacy program, of which Raphael was one of the main contributors to the brain tank, the think tank that was created then. And so this is why we advocate for our survivors to access these very real remedies. We believe in this gap that has been created. We believe in the remedies that are available, and we know that there are survivors who are eligible who are not accessing these resources. And so that for me feels like a really big injustice. And so that's why our programs advocate for survivors to have access to these very real remedies that we believe will create and can create a profound impact on long-term wellness and stability. Um, Instead of hearing me talk about the theories and models and programs, I'm going to introduce Genesis Duong, my amazing program manager, who has a lot more in-depth and just kind of in the weeds knowledge about how our model that Carolyn explained to us about our trauma-informed learning style, about our tandem multidisciplinary model of pairing attorneys with social workers, how that's come to fruition for us.
Thank you, Christy. Hello, everyone. My name is Genesis, and I'm the Client Advocate Program Manager here at Justice at Last. I'd like to share a client story with you to really illustrate all of the points that have been made throughout this session. But of course, the following details of this story have been changed to maintain confidentiality. Manuel came to this country seeking what so many people do, hope for the American dream and to reunite with his family in Chicago. He had been promised steady work as a painter and carpenter in the Bay Area for a short while so he could save up money. But when he arrived, everything that he had been promised disappeared. Instead, he was told he would be selling fentanyl. When he refused, they threatened his remaining family overseas. A credible, terrifying threat when law enforcement is in cahoots with organized crime rings. So Manuel did what many of us might do when the people we love are in danger. He complied and he sold fentanyl. That led to him being arrested, convicted, and sentenced, including 3 years of probation that required him to be in the Bay Area, hundreds of miles from the family that he had come here to reunite with. Manuel is a survivor of human trafficking, specifically forced criminality. And when his public defender learned about our organization, they knew we had the expertise to help him after his conviction. Here's what made his case so complex. He needed almost every single legal remedy and service we offer all at once. Our attorneys mapped out a legal strategy. They knew that the order of operations mattered enormously. Vacating his criminal record had to come first. Without that, immigration relief would be harder to obtain. The California Victims Compensation Program couldn't be accessed until after probation ended, and he couldn't move to Chicago until the legal hold on his location was lifted. Every piece depended on the one before it. While the attorneys worked on vacatur, the client advocate team got to work on everything else. They helped Manuel secure rental assistance so he could have stable housing while working on vacating his charges. They helped him access mental health services to process past and present trauma, and they coordinated his transportation to and from court, and perhaps most importantly, created a safe space where Manuel could speak honestly about his fears and doubts without judgment or pressure. Thanks to the skill and persistence of our lovely attorneys, his charges were vacated, and therefore his probation ended. That helped to unlock the next step. The client advocates helped him apply to the California Victims Compensation Program. Within a few months, he received the maximum award for wage loss reparations for human trafficking victims, which is $20,000, as Christy mentioned earlier. While waiting for the funds to arrive, our client advocates helped to talk through what it means to suddenly receive a large sum of money when you've had nothing. They talked about the very real pressure to give money away before taking care of yourself, which is an intense and very real factor in close-knit communities. In the end, Manuel made the best decision for himself. He bought a car in his favorite color, and he used the rest of the money to move to Chicago and reunite with his family. Today, Manuel is waiting for the final step, which is a T visa approval. He's waiting a little more comfortably now, surrounded by the people he loves, in a city where he can build the life he came here to find. Manuel's case is a reminder of why the work we do has to be multidisciplinary and trauma-informed. There is no single lever you can pull to fix a situation like this. It takes attorneys and advocates working in concert. It takes strategy and compassion in equal measure. There are more Manuels out there, people trapped in legal gray zones through no fault of their own, people who survived something terrible and then got handed a criminal record for it. They are waiting for someone to see the full picture of what happened to them and to help them obtain justice. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Genesis. I wonder if you wouldn't mind just quickly sharing, like, what is your most favorite thing about the work that you do as our client program manager? If you don't mind sharing that, that'd be great.
Yes, I think the client advocate program as a whole, my favorite part is really empowering people, or in this case, like as management, reminding the client advocates to empower clients and tell them you're in the driver's seat now. You get to choose. And sometimes folks are really shocked and they're like, really? I get to choose, like I don't need permission from you or from somebody else. And it's like, no, we can do this however you want. We've even had people that have said like, especially the way that things are going right now with ICE, they're choosing to voluntarily deport, which is their right. And, for some folks, it is the best decision, but then they feel so bad. They're like, I let you down. And it's like, no, this is your life. You get to make the decisions that are best for you. So really seeing them relieved, like I get to choose what I'm going to do from now on is just probably the most wonderful and the core part of being on the client advocate team is reminding survivors that they have autonomy and now they get to flex it.
Thank you, Genesis. Grateful to you. And thank you, Christy, too. I didn't get a chance to say thanks for sharing. Great all the way around. We are now going to go into our second opportunity to win some Justice at Last swag. We're going to I'll read the question out loud. We'll put it in the chat. It's the first three winners, or the first three individuals that submit the correct answer. And our question is going to be, to support survivors economically, Justice at Last steps in with a program called the blank Education and Advocacy Program. And hopefully the question is in the chat. I don't see it.
It's in the chat.
Okay, great. For some reason, I can't see it. But as long as that's in, we'll wait just a minute for folks. If that's challenging, we can ask another question. So what is the program called that we've just been talking about? A blank Education and Advocacy Program. There we go. It looks good. Thanks, folks. We will let behind the scenes, Karen and Tim will coordinate with the winners to get their contact information and how we can let us know what it is you want. You get a selection of one of Marty's books and then either a t-shirt, a mug, or a Justice at Last tote bag. Thank you. Thanks, folks, for participating. Whoops, my screen's now frozen. And now we're gonna, as behind the scenes, we'll let the winners coordinate with our volunteers, and then Aparna is going to talk now. Aparna, you could join us. She's not only our board chair, she's also our fundraising chair.
Good evening, everyone.
I'm Aparna Motiwala, board chair and fundraising chair at Justice at Last. I actually joined Justice at Last in early 2024 and grew into the board chair role at the start of this year. I'm privileged by the opportunity to help this organization continue to grow, to expand our reach so that more survivors can find justice, healing, and hope. What inspires me most is the compassion and commitment I see from the Justice at Last team. I deeply believe in this mission and in the survivors we serve. And as board chair, I'm truly grateful to work alongside such an incredible community of staff, advisors, donors, and supporters. Tonight, I'm delighted to share what our board has been focused on and what we're headed into 2026. So, board fundraising diversifying funds, what we get. I want to take a moment to talk about something that is very much on our minds as a board, and this is the funding landscape for nonprofits right now. Justice at Last, like many nonprofits doing critical legal work, has historically depended significantly on state and federal grants. That funding has been essential to our growth and impact. However, the current environment is uncertain. Government funding is not the guarantee that it once was, and we are navigating that reality thoughtfully and proactively. That is one of our most important strategic priorities for 2026 is diversifying our funding streams. This means looking at every possible avenue to grow and sustain our funding. It means deepening our relationships with foundations who share our values. It means growing our base of individual donors, people like you who believe in this work and want to be part of it. It means pursuing corporate partnerships and exploring new fundraising opportunities. And it means building something that is genuinely community rooted so that no matter what happens at the government level, we have a strong and diverse foundation to stand on. At the end of the day, this is about serving the people. Survivors cannot afford for us to slow down or scale back, and we have no intentions of doing so. But to keep showing up for them, we need this community behind us. Your support truly makes the difference. Next slide. So how does this work? Before I talk about monthly giving specifically, I want to say how much every single donation to Justice at Last means, no matter the size or frequency. Every contribution, whether it's a one-time gift or an ongoing commitment, goes directly towards supporting survivors and keeping this vital work moving forward. But I'd like to take a moment to talk about monthly giving in particular and why it matters so much to an organization like ours. Recurring, predictable income is what allows Justice at Last to plan with confidence. It means we can maintain the right team, respond to client needs without hesitation, and focus our energy on delivering the best possible service rather than constantly seeking the next grant or fundraising opportunity. One-time donations are genuinely valued and make a real difference. But monthly giving provides something equally important, stability. And in the current climate where so much of our government funding feels uncertain, that stability is not just helpful, it is critical. Whatever level feels right for you, $10 a month, 25, 50, or more. When multiplied across a committed community of supporters, it adds up to something truly significant. It adds up to a legal team that can keep showing up for survivors month after month. I want to sincerely invite you to consider becoming a monthly donor tonight. It is one of the most impactful things you can do to sustain this work long term. As you can see from the slide, sorry. Yes, as you can see, if you go on the Justice at Last website, you can see the donation page. Either go to the QR code or you can toggle between monthly and one-time donations and start this process. I'd like to also take this moment to recognize Tracy Diaz, who's actually on in this meeting, who has been a loyal monthly donor since 2024. She has also been someone who's worked at Justice at Last and has seen this wonderful work that's done close and personal.
Tracy, your consistent and generous support is a beautiful example of what community commitment looks like, and we are so grateful to have you with us. Rose, I'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Aparna. Tracy, I don't know if you want to say hi. You provided us with a phenomenal quote, so we're so grateful that you're here and you've been a dedicated supporter of our work.
Hi, everyone. It's so great to be here. So great to see you, Rose, and see everyone here. It's been wonderful. I did work with Rose a while back, and I think out of all the nonprofit work that I've done, volunteering and actually working for a paycheck, this has been the most impactful one for me. Just seeing survivors and actually them having the say on what they can do with their life is more impactful than I think anyone can imagine. And after I moved from this position, it's just something that really stayed to my heart, stayed true to me. A lot of people don't talk about human trafficking, or they think it's what they see in the movies. And it's really deeper than that. And it happens to so many people, sometimes people that we're friends with or that we work with, and we really don't know what their story is, and they're afraid to speak up on what's going on. And this kind of work is just so survivor centered, really gives the power to the person, and also provides information and knowledge that I've just never even heard of before. And being a monthly donor is really great. Out of any other place that I feel like I could donate, this has been the most personalized experience for me. I get, letters in the mail, handwritten notes, and as well as that, I know where this money is going to. I know that it's helping survivors. I know that this is helping a cause that is going to cause a change. So I really hope that y'all are able to kind of do this as well with me. And monthly donations are also helpful because you just don't think about it. It's already set into your account. So it just comes right out, and you just know that you're making a change. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Tracy, for showing up and the consistent support you've provided us. So grateful to you. Tracy also was a volunteer after she signed off and transitioned and moved. She still supported our work. So it's right on to you. And we also have another donor in the room. There's other folks, but long-term donor is Diane Barkley. She's on there somewhere. Thankful. Thank you, Diane, for showing up and supporting our work over the years. Now this is an opportunity for the audience to ask any questions that you might have. Feel free to put some questions in the chat. And I don't think we have any questions at the moment, but if anybody has any questions, whether it's regarding our board of directors or our programming or our advisors, please feel free to ask that question now. Thanks, Karen. So Carolyn, I don't know if you wouldn't mind taking this question. It's specifically about the T visa.
Yes. I'm sorry, I can't see the question. Do you mind reading the question to me?
It just says, can you say more about the T1 visa? But I think it's talking about just generally, what is the T visa?
Yeah. So the T visa itself is a visa that is specialized visa that's specifically for trafficking survivors. It allows a survivor who has doesn't have legal status in the United States to remain in the United States for 4 years with the opportunity to be able to then adjust and ultimately naturalize. But ultimately, it really is focused on survivors getting access to the stability and immigration status, right? And one of the main causes of vulnerability to trafficking. So it is a wildly underused immigration relief. And it's one of the areas where we get the most requests for trainings about. So we are lucky enough to really be able to build capacity and partnership with partners around immigration relief for survivors.
That's great. Thanks, Carolyn. Karen, was that enough information? Thanks. That's great. Yeah, and I think the challenge right now, and we've kind of the messaging has been throughout the event, especially now with all of the ICE raids that are going on. It's much harder for an immigrant to come forward and actually report the trafficking situation, just out of the reality of they're going to be deported, most likely. The laws are in place to protect survivors, immigrants in particular. Um, but I know with the first Trump administration, we had seen generally not just Justice at Last, but other anti-trafficking legal providers um, doing the work. Sorry, my screen is flipped around over here. A decrease in survivors coming forward to report their trafficking situation. And then Christy, do you want to share this out loud? Do you want me to read it, Christy, or do you want to talk quickly?
Oh, yeah, and I wasn't sure if I heard Carolyn mention that, but the immigration status that she mentioned with the T visa, it allows survivors to receive work authorization so that they can, go out and start getting their like economic and financial like plans back on track. So just wanted to kind of emphasize that one little point as well.
Excellent. Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you, everybody. Great. So we'll go ahead and move forward. Parna, back to you.
Thank you. Tonight has been a wonderful reminder of everything Justice at Last has achieved and everything this community makes possible. We heard about survivors navigating the legal system, its dignity and support. We heard about a financial education program creating real lasting change. And we heard from Tracy, whose steady and generous commitment as a monthly donor embodies exactly the kind of community partnership that sustains this organization. I want to thank every one of you for being here this evening, whether you are a long-standing supporter or joining us for the first time. Your presence and your interest in this work genuinely matters. The issues Justice and Last tackles are serious and complex, but I have complete confidence in this team, this board, and this community. Together, we are making justice real for people who need it most. Thank you so much. And I'll now hand over to Rose to share what's ahead for Justice at Last. And there's so much to look forward to. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Aparna. Thank you, everybody. I'll echo what Aparna just shared. We're grateful for you showing up, not just here today, but over the years, all of the support. So what is next? July 30th is, sorry, as my screen flips around all over the place, um, is Global Awareness Day about human trafficking. And so we had such a positive response over the showing of the film, This Adventure Called California. We're going to be showing it again. There'll be two opportunities to view it in July. One will be a virtual opportunity. The other one will be in person. We're still trying to secure a venue for the in-person event. But we wanted to let you know to mark your calendars. Definitely on July 30th, there will be a showing, and July 25th. And there will be expert panelists who talk about the film once it's shown. The film itself is about 21 minutes. Last year we had Genesis joined us for the conversation, as well as Raphael. Then we also had a local prosecutor within the Alameda County District Attorney's Office come speak with us. And then also one of our former board members, Ruth Silvertop, also spoke. So we'll have similar panelists to break down after we watch the film to better understand trafficking here in the Bay Area. And special thanks, we want to shout out to all of our supporters and behind the scenes helpers. Without all the folks that you see here right now on this list, we couldn't have done the event. So grateful that you took time at right around dinner time, getting off work to come here and join us today. We hope that you found this informative, and also that you were able to learn a little bit more about our work and our impact. So we're grateful to all of you. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night. Take
Thank
good
you.
care. Thanks. Sweet. Thanks, Diane. I'll check in with you. Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you, Ellen. I don't know if oh, you're still there. Thanks for joining us, Ellen. Grateful to you. Hi. Wonderful to see you. Have a good night. Take good care. Thanks. Wonderful. Well, thank you, everybody. We're going to formally end it because we're still on the recording. So we're going to sign off right now. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. Take good care.